hopped on Facebook Marketplace and picked up this Pelican 10-foot fishing kayak for about 140 bucks, which is a sweet deal. Yeah, it's a cheap design and everything, but it does just well enough for me. But it needs a few things. So I went to Walmart and picked up a handful of stuff, including the paddle and, believe it or not, this Penn Pursuit 3 fishing rod for pretty cheap. So I'm gonna show installing these upgrades, and we'll kind of see how they do. I won't get it on the water this video, but I think it'll be pretty interesting to see just how some of these super cheap items improve this kayak at least a little bit. Now, if you already have a $6,000 kayak with, you know, all the bells and whistles and raised seats, sit on top, pedals, and trolling motor, you're not going to be real impressed with this video. But some of us, you know, don't really do this very often, or, you know, for a living or anything like that. So I think the cheap option is perfectly fine. So let's get them installed and see how everything turns out. So as I said, everything I got came from Walmart, which is pretty cool. Not everything came from the fishing, or you could say the kayak section, but some of the things came from the fishing section, the tools and utilities section, the camping section, and then of course kayak specific stuff was around the fishing and kayak items in the store. So cool, super cheap. I think the thing I'm maybe most impressed with, depending on how well it works, is the anchor kit that came with it. It is a really light anchor. It does seem pretty cheap, but I think for all-in-one, this was about $16 or $17 for everything you see here. We've got a nylon line, a cleat to hook onto the boat, and of course the anchor. And then with my paracord, I'm going to do a couple things with it, but I am going to do a cheap little homemade trolley line system with these eye straps. I'm also going to do these eye straps for some tool lanyards. Again, this came from the fishing section, specific for tools. You could also find alternatives to this in the camping section, or maybe even the tools section. You could always use some carabiners, some, what do they call them, spring links. And then these O-rings are going to be for our trolley system, which I'll show you how to install. I've never done one before, but it seems pretty straightforward. There's tons of videos out there that do it, so if you need another reference, check those out. But I think we'll be pretty successful today. This cheap kayak doesn't have any sort of a paddle clip or paddle latch or anything. So I'm going to install this, we'll see how it goes. And I think it should be pretty straightforward, go pretty well. So I'm gonna get some of the easier stuff installed right now real quick, and we'll just kind of see how it turns out. Like I said, the way I'm installing these is just with these self-tappers. I do have a drill, but I think you're gonna see how easily these go into this plastic, that I'm pretty sure you could do this with just a simple, little hand screwdriver. I went ahead and put the lanyard on there, even though that's a split ring that you could obviously wind on there after the fact. It's easier, just slide it on there, put your screw in, and then it'll hold itself on. Zipping how quick these go in. And that's it. Install is done for that. Obviously I'll do the other side, but I didn't need any drill speed. I didn't need to put hardly any pressure on it. It just went right in. So I'm a little concerned because there is some, the sharp part of that screw is sticking out of the back. I'll test it out, see if my leg's ever going to touch it or not, because that will be a big factor as to whether I keep them or swap them or do something. But I'll be honest, I'm kind of thrilled with that. I'm not thrilled about the sharp part of the screw that's poking up back here. Maybe I'll get some, I don't know, rubber caps, or maybe I will swap those out. But as of right now, I don't think I'm gonna catch any skin on those, the sharp part of those screws, so it works for now. These lanyards, I won't get it on video here, but they seem to stretch. Wow. let me change the camera and show you how much that stretches, but that's pretty solid. You know, I've got just a pair of grippers here that, you know, if you lose that overboard, it's still tied onto your boat. Bring it right back in. Let me see if I can capture just how far this stretches, because that's kind of nice. Okay, look at this. They say it's about, I don't know, 10 inches overall, probably from eyelet to loop there. I mean, I can stretch it past the front of the kayak and then some. I don't think I'll pull it any further than that, but that's gotta be almost 3 to 4 feet plus. And it doesn't look like after pulling it, it has deformed at all. So that's kind of impressive. You could almost use that as a rod leash to be able to stretch your rod around the side. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I don't really want rod leashes on this build. I think they just kind of get in the way more than anything. If I was really concerned about my rods, I could always just put a rod float on it. But I'll be honest, I'm not losing a rod out in the water. I don't know, you guys might have a different opinion, but I'm not gonna be dropping a rod or anything. I know stuff happens and sometimes you get in hook on something a little bigger than you might anticipate, but I don't think that's an issue. Let's move on to the paddle clip and see what kind of paddle leash I can come up with. I'm trying not to film every little thing, because I don't want this to be long and boring and all that, but here's a little rod holder, a little rod clip. Surprise, surprise, the cheap Walmart screws are just more those little self-tappers that are just gonna rip right in there. There's no real risk of getting snagged back in here. I don't know if I want my paddle a little higher up or maybe down on the side. It's about flush with the top of this rail here. If I put it on top, no, let's just test this. Okay, so it's kind of like a paddle will really only sit one way there. I think I'm going to bring it down off the shoulder here. Now where I'm choosing to pick a point anywhere on here is there's this little dot right here on both sides at the same spot that I assume is provisioned for some kind of rod or paddle holder. I keep saying rod holder, but paddle holder that I'm just going to center this on here. And then I'm also going to add one of these centered over that hole as well. And we'll do some kind of paracord lanyard onto that and should work out pretty well. Just snapping my paddle in there, that doesn't look like a great fit, I'm gonna be honest. It's kind of stretched open. We'll get it installed, see what it looks like. Okay, it's all installed. I will say, if you can find one, I'm sure you can, I would probably try to find an upgrade to this rod holder. I don't think, it's not very confidence inspiring, but it'll work for now. I went ahead and put this eyelet up top here and just did a super quick and easy little lanyard here. You know, obviously it's not retractable like the actual lanyards are and everything, but I don't think I'll have any issue with any excess being in there next to my leg. It's long enough to go to the other side if I need to drop it in the water on the other side. And it's quick and easy. I mean, I could replace this 100 times with no big deal. Simple knots. Nothing really more to talk about. I think that'll work just fine for now. Let's go to the other side and do the final piece of the anchor and anchor trolley system and see how that turns out. Like I said, I've never done one before, but I think I get the concept, so let's give it a try. Okay, so for our anchor trolley system, it's going to be pretty simple. We're going to take two of the eyelets that we already had. We're going to spread them out on the side of the kayak, front and rear, about as far as we comfortably can. Now, I don't think the dimensions or length or anything like that are going to be super critical. I think the point is, let's just get it on there and get it working as best as we can. The other thing I'll have to attach is the cleat that comes in the anchor kit here. I think we will need to drill that and use some machine bolts and lock nuts on that. I'll pick a spot for the cleat depending on where I want it. But we're going to install the two eyelets. We're going to stretch paracord between them and tie a ring in between that. Let me go ahead and do it real quick, see how it looks and works, and then I'll bring you back and check it out. Okay, that's pretty much it. I've got the cleat installed. Here's the anchor, just unboxed it. Like I say, it is a small, like 1.5 pounds, but I think at least for where I'm gonna go, that should be enough. And we can always swap it out for something else later pretty easily. So it does come with quite a bit of rope. I didn't see the footage on it. Maybe, how much rope do we get? 30 feet in nylon line, so not actually that much, but I think that'll be plenty for what we're doing. So the point of the trolley line, we set our anchor off to the side. With the line up there, when the line is tight, my bow will kind of be facing where, you know, maybe I want to go that way, my bow will be facing in that direction. And if I need to switch that or reposition myself, slide it to the back or wherever, and now the tension's coming off this way, so my rear of the kayak will be facing that direction. I can go off another way, so that's actually pretty cool. That's probably the best upgrade we did today. All of them are pretty decent though, and guys, the point of this wasn't supposed to be some instructional on how you should upgrade your kayak. I think the main point was that, you know, we don't need $6,000 kayaks with another $5,000 worth of gear to get out and go fishing, or even just go out and do some leisure kayaking or whatever it is you want to do. Just go out, get things that'll work. Yeah, they might not last as long, they might not be as great, they might break, blah blah blah, but it's still, you know, gives you the opportunity to get out there and live a little bit. You know, I'm stuck in a little apartment, but you know, I'm still able to go and do things like this. I strapped this kayak on the top of my Ford Fusion with pool noodles and some straps through the windows, so if I can do it, you guys can do it for sure. Other stuff I pick up from Walmart. That paddle, I think I already said, is an Ozark Trail from Walmart, like 26 bucks, works just fine. To make yourself legal, grab you one of these life jackets. Obviously it's better if you get one that you can actually wear the whole time, but this will make you legal. Be safer, get something that you will wear while you're in the kayak, especially if you're going out on, you know, bigger bodies of water like inlets and stuff. You for sure need to have a life jacket at that point. I'm just going on brackish and somewhat saltwater rivers here in Florida, so I'll just keep this with me. You also need a sounding device. Here's a whistle that I got from Walmart, another $3, and then a flashlight that I don't go out at dark, but I believe that it is somewhat required to at least have a flashlight if you're going to be out like in twilight hours or something like that. I also carry with me a headlamp in my fishing gear, so anything you can do to make yourself safer. But like I said, the whole point of this video is there's a million different things you could get at Walmart, the dollar store, Lowe's and Home Depot, all the Harbor Freight, whatever, that you could use to improve your kayaking life, not your whole life probably, but you know, improve your life and get out and go do stuff. So I'm curious what other stuff you guys get into. What other things have you seen or done or seen on other people's channels that are budget friendly upgrades that you could do? I know a lot of people put milk crate in the back. Mine has this bag back here that, I'll be honest, is kind of useless. This Pelican bag. 9 times out of 10, I take that out and I put my whole tackle bag back here and just strap it in with the straps. And then of course, got the fishing rod. I'm not gonna really talk about the fishing rod, but I did get that from Walmart, which was pretty cool. Pen Pursuit 3, I got it super cheap for some online deal, but lots of things you can do. Let me know what other stuff you guys would do. I think this turned out great for what I'm doing, and everything together, including the paddles, the rod, the anchor system, everything was right around or maybe just under $100. Without the rod, it's way under $100, but the rod, you know, 30, 40 bucks, whatever I got it for, brings it up a little bit. But it's amazing what you can do with places like Walmart. So curious to hear any other ideas down in the comments. If you don't comment, that's cool too, but I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So I'll get some close-ups and that'll be the end of the video. Appreciate it.